As we enter into our final weeks of this session, and I prepare to end my journey of legislative service, I reflect on relationships and friends made, bonds that will last me a lifetime. I'm reminded of Winston Churchill's comments on his retirement. I trust that I shall not be guilty of trespassing beyond those limits of time necessary to make farewell comments. Upon my departure on this public occasion, I want to first and foremost thank my wife, Patty, for her continued support. With grateful regards, thank you, my colleagues, for the great opportunity to serve with you. Thank you, my friends, for your support and guidance. Members of the Senate and House have blessed me with many leadership opportunities. I consider myself very fortunate to have such a wonderful staff. To my three chiefs of staff during my time in the Capitol, Jeff Brooks, Dusty Sneeders, Heidi Kolkmeyer, and to the caucus staff under their direction, thank you for your hard work. Thanks to Gwen Delano for running my district office and being on top of the things in my district. Thanks to Patty Paris and Deanna Getz for their expertise and organization skills that keep my office running smoothly. I would like to personally thank the Majority Leader, the Senator from Cole, for a great partnership with me and the Senate negotiating the rough seas of calendar work and debate. Thank you to all the Senate staff, administration, Secretary of the Senate, Accounting, Human Resources, Appropriations, Communications, Computer Information Systems, Operations, Research, Bill Room, Enrolling and Engrossing Office, Assistants, and Doorkeepers for all you do to help senators do their job. Last but not least, thanks to the Senator's staff for your hard work and cooperation. Never will these illustrious chambers be out of my memory. I'm reminded of Senator Dick Webster of Carthage, Missouri, whose picture is in the Senate lounge when he arrived to serve in the Missouri House in Jefferson City in 1949. The Democrats were in complete control, and he had a general feeling with regard to those people who sat on the other side of the aisle were either hoodlums or nefarious political bosses. During his second month of the session, a young Irish bartender by the name of Tommy Walsh was handling a bill. It raised the salaries of constables in St. Louis from $9 a day to $10 a day. A large number of Democrats were voicing their opposition. During the debate, a senior Republican said to Dick Webster, "Kid, if I were you, I'd vote for the bill." When Webster seemed surprised, the senior Republican said, "Trust me, the bill carried by one vote." As Webster walked out of the House chamber, the young Irishman put his hand out and said, "I won't forget." When Webster later asked the senior Republican, Bill Cruz from El Dorado Springs, why that was a vote important, the answer came, "All the good guys are not in our party, and not all the bad ones are in theirs." Senator Cruz also said that he was not going to point out the bad guys, because if you can't figure out by the end of session, you shouldn't be here. Tommy Walsh is one of the good guys. When the next session began, Warren Fuqua, a legislative advisor to Farm Bureau, asked Webster to file a bill. Webster thought he was co-sponsoring a bill, but he was being asked to handle it. It was very unusual for a freshman. Webster agreed to handle the bill and received notice of the committee hearing the following week. When he arrived at the hearing, the young Irish bartender was the chairman. When Webster's bill came before the committee, Walsh said that this bill is very important to our friend from outstate Missouri. Representative Webster was asked if he wanted to explain the bill or did he want the committee to go ahead and take action. Webster replied that he would trust the committee's decision. The bill was never discussed. The motion was made and carried. The bill came to the floor the next week, and Tom Walsh and other Democrats saw that there was enough votes to pass the bill. The bill was the establishment of rural fire districts and also permitted rural areas to cooperate with town and city fire districts. Without the legislation in 1950, the farmers could not expect to participate in the use of the Carthage, Missouri Fire Department. When Dick Webster was elected to the Missouri Senate in 1962, Walsh and Webster continued to be close friends. Walsh worked the Missouri House, walking the aisles, helping to get enough votes to make Missouri Southern College in Joplin a full 4-year funded college. As Senator Webster prophetically said in 1986, and still true today, a multitude of changes have been made in the minds and attitudes of American voters and public officials. Our Constitution, however, is still in place, and it will fail only when the people of America lose interest in their government and how it works. I would like to share a few thoughts of 16 years in the state capitol. Some of these notions are mine, some are borrowed from intellectuals from the past. In the time we have served in government, I have asked that you respect tradition, respect your word, and which we must adhere to. If you want respect, you must give respect. The legislature must be independent and stand against overreach and the assault from the other branches of government and the tides of public opinion. Be careful of ideas that promote personal agendas. Some ideas may seem in the best interest of Missourians. Look for the residue or the fallout of the possible outcome. Daniel Moynihan said that everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but not to their own facts. Do not allow an antiquated notion that a caring government can socialize everyone to behave well, thereby erasing personal responsibility and accountability. I am intrigued by people reacting to circumstances they find themselves and how events were affected by actions. Incrementalism, the key to passing legislation. Small bites over years yields large dividends and your goals while avoiding mistakes and large bills. As a Speaker of the House, it was difficult to understand the pace of the Senate. However, it became clear that the discussion between Washington and Jefferson was true, that the Senate cooled passions and tried to reconcile the unreconcilable. In Robert Byrd's volumes, the U.S. Senate history applies to us, the Missouri Senate. Let the Senate, in moments of drama, the kind of independence, impartiality, fairness, and courage that from time to time over the years has brought to bear on great issues. James Madison, if man were angels, no government would be necessary. If angels were to govern man, neither external or internal contracts on government would be necessary. Elections have consequences because enlightened statesmen will not always be sent to Jefferson City. I've tried to learn leadership skills no matter what office I was elected to. I looked at history for those who had larger decisions to make and how they handled them. I've always believed that as elected officials, we must take charge of events, not allow events to take charge of us. In the Missouri Senate, the leaders recognized generations ago that party affiliation had little to do with political philosophy. They were wise enough in 1919, when the new Capitol was opened, to establish an unwritten rule that we, the Senate, would never sit by political party on the floor of the Senate. It isn't possible to walk in and see the Democrats on one side and the Republicans on the other. It is the only legislative body in this nation which follows that tradition. The result of this is the ability to vote in accordance with your conscience and the interests of the people you represent. Neither the Democrat floor leader nor I would ever attempt to crack the whip and deliver a solid party vote in order to maintain party loyalty. In the Missouri Senate, we generally follow the rules of procedure as United States Senate. A rule can be suspended by a majority vote. We also have unwritten rules which have nothing to do with parliamentary procedure. Some of them deal with matter of common courtesy, others deal with overall conduct toward each other. As an example, it doesn't matter who the governor is. No gubernatorial appointment will be confirmed if the senator in whose district the appointee resides objects. This has been hard for governors to understand. It is not a written rule, but is strictly enforced. Thanks for your kindness and your patience and your wisdom. Your leadership team has always tried to guide the Senate with fairness, professionalism. I have sought guidance, opinions from all that I have met. This is not the occasion to outline remedies on governance, but I may suggest that my faith is in God's mercy. We may choose right. There is always time and hope if we combine patience and courage. I will always believe that the day may dawn when fair play, love for one another, respect for justice and freedom will enable tormented generations to march forth serene and triumphed. God bless you. God bless the state of Missouri. God bless the United States.